Rockin' North America, the Caribbean, and Europe. It's LA Lloyd Rock 30.
Hey, it is LA Lloyd, and today is the first time for Lilith Czar to co-host the Rock 30. I've been wanting to have you on the show for a while, so definitely good to see you today.
Great to see you as well. I'm very excited to be here.
Indeed. So, when COVID began, we had so much time to ourselves. How did you find this downtime? Was it, kind of a good time to analyze yourself professionally or even personally? And if so, how did that affect you, moving into the present now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having so much time at home, for me personally, I couldn't help but really deep into what I wanted out of my life and my career. What it stripped away everything that distracted you in life.
Yeah.
There was no distractions. So, it really showed me who I was, what I wanted to change, what I wanted to portray as an artist, and how I've actually changed and evolved as just a person throughout the year of life.
Yeah.
And, the type of artist that I write from real experiences. And I even, when I'm performing, I feel the words that I'm singing because they're so true to me. And so I felt like I was doing myself and people who listen to my music a disservice by not portraying this new woman that I have become in my art. And that is ultimately why I decided to, have the name change and this, rebirth, and what you're seeing with my new album, Created from Filth and Dust.
Yeah. That leads me into my next question. I saw this interview where you said that you kind of consider yourself an overthinker. And, you spoke about that a little bit right there. But I mean, is this regarding your music or just your everyday lifestyle, from, picking clothes, what are you going to go eat, or whatever,
Yeah, I am truly an overthinker in all aspects of my life. And that can be a positive thing or it can be a flaw. When it comes to anything, if it's photo shoots, I every little detail matters to me. I'll spend hours, making sure that the outfit makes sense for whatever artistic setup we have. And I want it to communicate something. And, or even music, write 4 or 5 of them before I'm like, okay, that's the one. I have this, I think this is what it is. I've broken it down. Basically I need to explore all options of something, so I know that I'm making the right decision.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It totally does. Well, along with your music, I wanted to talk about your acting a little bit, where you played the character Shiva on the TV series Paradise City. How was that experience for you? Is this your first time acting, or had you done some before, or how would you kind of rate this from an actor's standpoint?
Well, it was the first, real professional acting experience. I growing up, in school and stuff like that, I was in plays, and I did musicals and, silly that me and my siblings put together. Doesn't really count.
Right.
Things like that. And then I've been an entertainer my entire life. So, if it's on stage or it's music videos or whatever like that, that's kind of somewhat, it's a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I have a sibling. My sister is an actor. What she does is her profession.
Okay.
And so, she was really able to give me some pointers and, kind of help me in that regard. And watching her throughout her career, it kind of gave me a little bit of an understanding of, where I need to look to say things. Don't speak with marbles in your mouth, like certain things that, you don't tend to think about as just a singer. And so, it was really fun. I had the time of my life. But you know, the first couple of scenes that I shot, I would be a liar if I didn't say that I was completely shitting my pants. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, I wanted to ask you, I mean, your character Shiva obviously is a role that you're familiar with, you know, being an entertainer, music or whatever. If you act more in the future, is there a particular type of role outside of, you know, music that you'd like to pursue, you know, if you do some more acting?
Yeah, you're right in that it was pretty easy to portray Shiva because it was such a familiar role and character. But I want to be in a horror movie so bad. I don't care if I die in the first scene. I don't care, you know what, I just want to be I'd love to do horror movies.
Yeah.
It's my favorite genre of movies. So, I just want to, I don't know. I just want to be thrown out the top of a building or, you know, have my guts spill out.
Yeah.
Something crazy. I want to do.
I didn't know if you wanted to be the villain or the victim, you know, it's because sometimes it's harder to play the victim than it is the villain sometime, you know.
Beggars can't be choosers. Whatever you want to give me, universe, I will take it.
We had your husband, Andy, on about 2 or 3 months ago, and we talked about Paradise City a little bit as well. And, you know, is it easy working with your husband on the set all day? Because I imagine some of these shoots may go 10, 12 hours. I mean, if it starts getting a little grueling, obviously you get to see each other at home, and then you got to take that to work with you. So what's it like being on the set working with your husband?
Well, you know, amazing. You know, Andy and I have been fortunate enough to be on, you know, certain festival tours at the same time. And it's always so wonderful to get to be around the person that you love the most as much as possible.
Right.
You know, but him on Paradise City and when he shot American Satan, you know, we never really had scenes together. I think we were only on set for Paradise City one.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Other than that, our schedules were completely opposite. So I would be, and he'd be home sleeping, and then I would get home from shoot. He would leave to go film. And so there was a period there for a few weeks that we like never saw each other.
That's pretty wild. It really is.
Yeah.
Just to touch on this briefly here, of course, you were on season 2 of The Voice and you didn't win, but, you know, you have stated in other interviews that kind of was a blessing in disguise. So can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, when the opportunity presented itself, I remember the first thing I said to my manager was, if we do end up, you know, choosing to do this, you know, be on this show, I don't want to win. I want to be the runner up. And she was like, why don't you want to win? And I was like, because I ain't trying to have that label over my head for the rest of my life. That's you know, like I felt like being the runner up, you get the same amount of airtime. You still get a deal. It's, you know, it's not a, you know, sort of this like beacon, like of like, oh, she's the winner of a singing competition show, you know, over my head. But yeah, I mean, I was really hesitant to do the show just because I was one of those people for years that was like, no, man, like you got to earn your stripes. You got to, you know, you got to pay your dues. You got to play with a band and shit for years. You got to tour in a car and a van and, you know, and all of that. And I did it. I did that for a long time. And it was something I decided to do because I was just like, I want to be able to pay my bills.
Right. Yeah. and still do music for a living. That's true. Well, when you moved from Universal Records to your current label, Sumerian, you know, what life lessons did you learn from that period that's kind of helped you in your new record deal and this incarnation in your career?
Well, the lessons I learned, you know, was that you got to keep your integrity and stay true to who you are as an artist, because the unhappiness that followed me after you know, having to release the more, I guess, like popish, which, look, nothing against the genre. It's just not who I am. It's not what's in my blood. And it made me very, you know, it didn't bring me any happiness.
I got you.
And it you know, made me feel like I was just not staying true to who I was. And so after that, you know, that chapter closed, I started down the path of like really sticking to my guns and staying true to who I was and what I wanted to say. And, you know, over a couple of years, it evolved and became this relationship with this great new rock label that was like all about me putting down what I had in my heart.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear things are working out well for you at Sumerian. The Me Too movement, you know, opened a lot of people's eyes about the misogyny in the film industry. But, you know, personally, I still don't feel like it's been as exposed as much as it could or should in the music industry. I mean, do you agree with that, or what's your feelings on that?
Yeah, I've, you know, experienced just an ton of being treated differently because I was a woman.
Right.
You know, whether that was not being taken seriously or, you know, being called a bitch because I had an opinion or something to say or disagreed with something. Mm-hmm. You know, how that you look and you're, you know, how, you know, like, God forbid time, you know, touches my face or, you know, like having to have that pressure on you to like, always be perfect, always be beautiful, always say the right thing. Gosh, even just genre wise, like I've literally been told by, you know, years ago by men in the industry that women don't succeed in rock music.
Wow.
And that was just like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Morissette, Janis Joplin, Heart, Haley, Evanescence, I could keep going on it. Like, it was just like, that's such a ridiculous thing to say with nothing to back it up, just other than the fact that what your MO is that you want me to just do what you're telling me to do and do pop music.
Right.
Other than that, there's no validity behind it, other than, you know, you're a major record label and you're just interested in what's working right now.
Yeah. Earlier this year, you released the song King, a very powerful song. Was this one written during COVID lockdown, or was it done after or prior? Or, you know, what can you tell me about this track before I play it?
Yeah, so King was written at the tail end of 2019, and we finished it. Man, it took a couple months to really perfect the lyric and perfect the melody. And it took a few months after that to, I must have re-sang that song 6 or 7 times until we felt like we really had the magic that we wanted to capture for that. But I started writing King when I was on tour. And it stemmed from a situation or an experience I had on the tour where I knew in a man, something that happened would not have gone down.
Right.
And so, you know, instead of like going online and being like, this is my feelings, this is how I feel, I was like, all right, I'm going to put everything I'm feeling, the rage that I'm feeling inside of me right now. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to put this down on paper. And that's when I began writing King. And when I got off the road, we, you know, started laying it down.
And it came out great. And, you know, also the video. I mean, when you have a powerful song like King, I mean, I think you definitely pulled off at least what I would think you'd want to accomplish. But, you know, what were you trying to accomplish with the video to make that one just as powerful as the song?
The video treatment is definitely open for interpretation, but essentially the concept behind the video is that you have Moon, which is female, and Earth, which is man. And right. Throughout the music video, you have Moon and Earth kind of, bumping heads. And it's kind of like, it's an analogy for, the battle of men versus women. And throughout the video, it's like this, the woman, the Moon is pleading for Earth to understand and to accept and, share in the power and equality and all of that. And in the end, Moon chooses to forgive, and to forgive is the most powerful thing in this universe. I feel to love and forgive, despite, whatever it is that you're being put through is pretty powerful. And so that was kind of my idea behind the video.
Yeah, and it came out great. The current single that I'm playing on the Rock 30 is called Anarchy. And in Kerrang, you said that, I'm hoping it to be this real moment of togetherness in a live setting. So have you had the opportunity to tour with this song live yet, or?
Not yet.
What do you think? Do you think your hopes will come to fruition once you get to finally do it live?
I mean, I would think so, especially because, the first time this song will be played live, will be opening for two of the greatest bands in rock today, Evanescence and Hailstorm.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's such an honor to go, not to go on the road for them, but to be able to debut all of these songs live, opening for two women who I just think are magical, absolutely magical. So, that will, we'll see. Hopefully I have that moment, but I have a feeling I will.
I don't know if you recall a festival that was in the 90s. It was called the Lilith Fair.
Lilith
and
Fair,
so,
yeah.
I went to that and I just thought it was such a great concept, and I wish they had continued that. But I got to say, kind of what you and Lizzie and Amy are doing with your bands right now, we've kind of brought back a mini Lilith Fair, if you will. Just a little bit harder maybe, but still, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more aggressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've always thought that it would be wonderful to bring that tour back. And, like I said before, being a part of this, especially with Plush, and just what women in general are doing in rock music today, I feel like we should just bring it back.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Last question here. Something you said in an interview is that you talk with your mom every day, as I do myself. And, I've got friends and people who go like, what the hell do you and your mom possibly talk about every day? It's like sometimes I'll talk to her on the way to the radio station, on the way home. And I'm just like, if nothing else, just to hear her voice. My mom's 84 now, and she lives in North Carolina, so we're many miles apart. But I just wanted to kind of talk about, that's my feelings with my mom. What kind of role does your mom play in your life?
Well, first of all, I just have to say I love that you do that. That's so wonderful. That's all mothers want. They just want to talk to their kids at all times. They want to know where you are, who you're with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my mom, oh my gosh, we talk about everything. She's my, she's kind of like the person I turn to feel stable, to feel grounded. If we need to talk about, music video or clothes or how I'm feeling, or what's going on in life, and the thing, what's going on in work for her. But even like just talk about Game of Thrones or like just anything mundane. Me and my mom, there will be times where she's just in my ears and I'm going around the house cleaning, packing things, putting things away, organize, whatever. She's doing the same thing. We're just chit-chatting and
almost like right there together, huh?
Yeah, for sure. there's no topic is off the table in our relationship. No topic.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, thank you so much, Lilith, for being on the show today on the Rock 30. I'm glad to finally get you here. I hope in 2022, I've been doing a lot of these Zoom interviews, which I love because we can still see each other and kind of get to see each other in our own personal spaces here. But, there's nothing like sitting down face to face, and hopefully in 2022, we'll get the chance to do that.
LA, I would love nothing more than to be able to speak to you in person. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It is an honor and it means everything to me.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Liz. Have a great weekend, okay?
You too, LA. Thank you.